Happy Thursday, Striver. Have you ever thought about how the hero's journey applies to your life and the struggles and challenges and goals and dreams that you are facing right now? Well, let me tell you a little about that today in this Daily Fire. Hey, it's Brent Bouchard, founder of Growth Day, and I've thought so much about storytelling throughout my life, and of course, everyone always comes back to the hero's journey. And I was talking with a friend recently about how he imagined that applied to his life. And I thought it'd just be an awesome session with you and your life. When I think about the hero's journey, I really think about a 4-part act. And this does not follow the exact formula of the hero's journey, because I actually think that sometimes people miss out on what makes that journey so special and so compelling. Because the hero's journey doesn't begin, as I think most people assume, with, comfort, and this is the way life is. Usually, of course, it begins with crisis. The language I use is disruption. Something disrupts your life. It disrupts your mind, your body, your spirit. It disrupts your family. It disrupts your city. It disrupts your normal way of living. It disrupts community. It disrupts the world. There is disruption, Striver. What are you going to do about it? And this is the central turn in the hero's journey. What happens when disruption happens? What does the character do? See, the entire arc of storytelling and the hero's journey is from that moment where disruption happens to there is a moment of what you and I would probably just call the character reveal. It's where the character reveals their character, their sense of values or integrity, congruence, hopes, dreams. You learn something about the character because they do something. What is it they do? I want you to take a moment and think about the great stories of life. When there's crisis or challenge or disruption, you know that about the character, and then the character does something that really turns the entire story. What is it they do? Well, what they do is they make a choice that reveals their character. They make a choice that says who they are. They make a choice that follows through on their belief of who they are, what they're capable of, what they desire, and what they feel responsible to do in the world. Sometimes that character acts from their own hopes or dreams. Sometimes they act because they want to get back to normal. Sometimes they act because they want to build something new. Sometimes they act because they need to slay the dragon to save the town. But they act. But it comes from choice. And you can tell by their actions that they're making a choice because of who they are. Most stories that don't resonate and don't work well is because you didn't know the character. It was hard to figure them out. It was like they were going through the days or dealing with the struggle, but there was nothing about them that could grab onto because they didn't make any choices. See, you learn about people based on the choices they make. And sometimes, as we're going through disruptions in our life, we don't really make any choices. We just kind of react forward, but we don't make any choices. We don't make the hard choices. We don't stand for anything. We just kind of bob and weave and try to survive, which of course is sometimes part of a hero's journey. A lot of bobbing and weaving and trying to survive, falling down, getting knocked out, scared, wondering what to do. But they always make a choice that is obvious and says something about them. Whether it sends them up or it sends them down, a choice is made. And this is really important because the hero's journey really depends on that choice for them to engage. And this is true for your life. You want to be a hero of your own life? You need to engage and you need to make a choice. You can't sit around waiting, well, maybe next year or the next year after that, or maybe one day I'll decide. Heroes make the choice, and it says something about them. The third act or the third motion is where now that character behaves. And they're sort of faced usually with three things. They're faced and have to confront fear. They have to move through an uncertainty or a crucible that's scary to them. There is fear. There is worry. There is concern about rejection, abandonment, failure, ruin, and it's dramatic. Engaging the thing that they fear is what makes the movie. There is no movie and there is no finale if that character doesn't engage something that they're scared of. Another element here in this stage is they have to confront their faith. They have to determine somewhere in that show, somewhere in that movie, somewhere in that book, somewhere that character has to decide, do they believe in themselves? Do they believe in something beyond themselves? Do they believe in something beyond themselves that is a relationship? They put faith in a relationship. Do they put faith in the future? Do they put faith in God? Do they put faith in the universe? Do they put faith in themselves? Do they put faith in somebody around them, their team? Somewhere you see them have that faith. That the reason they're willing to engage the fear is because they've contemplated whether or not they believe. Do you believe? No doubt you're facing some kind of disruption. Do you believe? What do you believe? What choices are you making? These are revealing your character. The third element in this stage is about friends, about friendship. It's about engaging the people around them in some way or another. Most heroes' journeys have a lot of conflict in the relationships around them because the disruption happened, which threw the character into turmoil, and they mistreated the people around them. They doubted the friend. They debated the mentor. They divided their household. They argued with or left somebody in the community. There is some kind of friendship circle. Their buddy is involved in something or they're not, but there is an engagement at some point socially. We go from the psychology of the character where they've got to force a choice. They've got to engage a fear. They've got to contemplate their belief, their faith. And at some point, that psychology flips to sociology. And the story of the movie becomes great because of the social circle of this character. Because it's the social circle that reveals so much of the character and their choice and their behavior. But it's also usually the social circle that goes on the journey and goes into battle with them or for them or despite them. Fourth act or the stage here is victory. A hard-fought victory. And that's what you're going to have. You're going to have a hard-fought victory. That's what you're going to have, Striver. You're going to engage this disruption, and it's going to suck. And it's going to force you to make hard choices, maybe begin anew, face some fears, deal with your own faith and belief, look at your friendship circles, your inner circles, your broader social circle in a new way, and you are going to have a hard-fought victory. It won't be an easy victory. It won't be an automatic victory. It won't be an enabled victory. It won't be a promised victory. It will be a hard-fought victory. And at the end of that victory, you will be proud because you made that choice. You didn't sit back. You didn't disengage because there was discomfort. You engaged that disruption and you made the hard choices. You faced your fears. You summoned your faith. You leaned on some people and you got going and you had that hard-won victory. There's almost no victory that's just handled to you in a world where we have so much empathy and compassion, and I would say too, entitlement, that when you realize the benefit of your own character, and I mean your inner character, the stuff of who you are, the benefit of engaging difficulty and overcoming it with hard-won focus, hard-won effort, hard-won skill development, hard-won art, hard-won contribution, hard-won community building, and it works something succeeds, there's a victory there that you cannot even imagine at the end of that movie, at the end of that book, at the end of that stage, at the end of that story. You couldn't have seen it in chapter 1 of Disruption. So if you're in chapter 1 of Disruption, let me let you know something. You got to make a choice. You're going to have to face some things. You're going to work hard. And you're going to have a victory that nobody could have ever anticipated. And your story becomes one of those impossible stories. One of those stories people celebrate. One of those stories you get to tell the kids. I was down and out, but you know what? I decided to fight. I was down and out. I decided to pick myself up. I was down and out and abandoned and by myself, and nobody believed. And I didn't even know if I believed, but I faced my fears. I believed in myself or believed in something higher. I connected to a higher faith. I enrolled the people around me, and we went at it, and we won. Victory. Victory. I encourage you today to think about your disruptions. I want you to know you can make choices that will be good for your future. Don't be so concerned about your fear. Tap into your faith. Lean on some friends. Do the hard work because you deserve that victory. And you only get it when you realize the self-improvement. Daily focus on being your best. Daily focus on summoning your best. Daily focus on that truth that every day is a great day to grow. So keep coming back here into Growth Day to listen to these daily fires, to watch the classes, to use the journal, to track your habits, to get this system into your life, because every day is a great day to grow. All right, if you love this daily fire today, quick reminder, comment on it down below. What did you learn? What do you think? What do you have to share? This is about social learning in Growth Day. We learn from each other. We have that humility to learn from each other, but we also have that service leadership mindset where we want to share our life lessons with one another. So what have you learned about this topic? Put it in the comments down below and then get your growth streak.